Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. You know, and I want to apologize to you all for not staying in my lane. You're a comedian, stay in your lane. I don't want to hear about no politics. Talk about your penis, sing a song like a real comedian. Well, since 2015, when a bright orange virus infected our country, when the people who we once looked to for leadership and direction took $4 trillion and destroyed farmers, our immigration system, and divided a great nation more than we have ever been divided, and then tried to end that nation with an insurrection, which this podcast called over 5 years ago.
Mark my words, ladies and gentlemen, this dirty Paul scoundrel nincompoop Donald J. Trump will indeed do anything to hold on to power, even impose martial law. We must scream sanity.
Kool-Aid, Kool-Aid.
Be sure that the envelope says
Kool-Aid.
We said he would impose martial law. We said he would do anything to hold on to power. And how did we know that? Oh, come on. Are you serious? The dude said he wanted to date his daughter.
Right, that's this girl's gripe.
And
People
there was
assume
nothing.
there'll be nude photos.
Right, you do assume that.
Misleads.
I don't think Ivanka would do that inside the magazine, although she does have a very nice figure. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
I mean, overthrowing the government wasn't even in his top 5. The evil horrors this guy brought into us, my God. Although the top 5 thing is still 7 spots higher than him learning to read, so that was way down his list. Maybe he thought if he overthrew the government, Ivanka would snuggle him. Comedians should stay in their lane. You mean like this guy? He said, suppose you were an idiot, and then suppose you were a member of Congress. But I repeat myself. So you think Mark Twain should have stayed in his lane? Or maybe Will Rogers, who said, I'm not a member of any organized political party. I'm a Democrat. Or this guy.
Time to unveil what Dr. Oz calls the mother of all parasites.
Oh, come on now. I need help with this one. This is big.
I'm not the parasite.
Oh, please.
Or maybe this genius.
That's just one piece of 1.2 billion lines of data from the election.
And it's proof of nothing.
Then you didn't hire a cyber expert.
Yeah, so maybe we should all stay in our lane, huh? So to every one of you who believes that comedians or actors or singers have no business in politics or even talking about politics, can you ask these guys to stay in their lane, huh? Because actors or TV personalities shouldn't stick their heads into politics, right? You mean like, I don't know, Ronald Reagan, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sonny Bono, Gopher from Love Boat, I don't know his real name, Clint Eastwood, and Sweet Potato Hitler himself, who was a reality television star. So here on the Armageddon Update, the lane we stay in is the lane with the facts in it. And I know those are tough things to face. Facts. Especially if you're a fan of red baseball hats and thinking you're a genius for remembering 5 complete words.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV. If you get it in order, you get extra points.
Oh, and committing treason. But I will make you a deal. I won't talk about politics. I'll stay in my lane when every single one of you stops following bullshit conspiracy from an imaginary dude named after the weirdest consonant in the alphabet who makes you think JFK Jr. is coming back from the dead and he's coming back as a Republican. When you start facing the fact that the president whose taint you polished tried to end America and you thought it was a good idea, then I'll tell you what, I'll stop talking about this country that I love. When you cunt, men, stop trying to destroy it. Until then, we here at the Armageddon Update are going to mock the stupid, joke about the evil, and call out the treasonous. I'm talking about some of you. And I'm going to use my First Amendment right because I'm right. I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. This is my lane. Yelling and ranting. That's my fucking lane. I'm in it. Jesus Christ. Hey everybody, Christopher Titus Podcast, take 2. Holy crap. We are here talking to you on the the computer from Leith, Scotland. With me as always, my cohort in crime, my best friend in the world, Bombshell Rae.
And your buddy in suffering. What's up? What's up, people?
My buddy in suffering. Just so you guys know, the Armageddon Update was called Stay in Your Lane. I am going to let everybody know, as you saw in the Army Get an Update, I'm really tired of anybody saying a singer or a comedian or an actor doesn't have the right to talk about the fucked up country we're currently living in. You know, I don't get it. It's like, why do you, I have, 23 hours a day? Like, we work an hour.
We work 1 hour a day.
Right. I spend 6 hours looking up stuff so I can write jokes about it, so I know what's happening in the news. And these people are like, hey, man, stay in your lane. Well, dude, don't you work at TJ Maxx? Aren't you a hostess at a Perkins? Like, what are you talking about?
I always think it's so strange when they say that to us, especially you see that being said to performers, you know. And I've said this before, it's like dance, monkey, dance. I buy your tickets, you shut up and tell jokes, or you shut up and play the guitar, or whatever. I've actually seen someone say that about us specifically. He's a radio account exec that we were buying ads from.
Right, we were giving him money.
Yeah, and was friendly to our faces. And then I saw he posted something on Facebook, of course. And it was a stay in your lane, you know, I pay you to juggle and tell me jokes or whatever. And so I publicly posted back to him. And it changed quite quickly and got deleted. But that's what I don't understand, is why you're more qualified. You're, you know, a radio account executive, or, you know.
Here's what I think it does. What I think people see is, to be a comedian, here's the problem with comedians. Comedians, our entire job is to think differently, to get inside what's really going on, find the hypocrisy of it, you know, to kind of put a spotlight on the stupidity of it. That's what a comedian does, especially when, you know, all the way back to Mark Twain or Will Rogers, Mort Saul, these kind of guys who got into politics and were known for it. So you have to be smart, and then you have to make whatever that fact is funny. That takes intelligence, and I think what happens is, and it's only funny if it's a good point. You know, you can't be inaccurate as a comedian. So I think what pisses these people off is most comics that are doing this make really good points, and when someone's making a really good point and making you laugh about that point, it really pisses the people that support the hypocrisy. It really makes them angry. Do you know what I mean?
It doesn't make any sense, though, because even aside from that of trying to laud what comedians do, the bottom line is everyone has a right to their opinion and to vocalize their opinion, period. Right. That's the end of the argument. I don't have to prove that I'm intelligent because of the job I do. I mean,
well, did you understand that there is no, like, if someone goes, hey man, you don't have the right to say that, there is no argument. You already won the argument.
Right.
Like, you've already won.
And the people that they love are, you know, Donald Trump, our cabbie yesterday said, hasn't he been bankrupt 6 times? How do you allow him to be president if he's been bankrupt 6 times? Like, he was still stuck on the bankruptcies.
Yeah, we were like, dude, we are so far beyond that now.
And Marjorie Taylor Greene, they love her, and she ran a CrossFit gym. She thinks it's the gazpacho police.
She didn't run a CrossFit gym. I thought she worked out there. She was sleeping with her tantric. She didn't run it.
I thought
she runs a construction. Her family had a construction business. She lived in one entirely different county. Yeah. She carpetbagged and moved to another county so she could run for Congress. Do you know why she could run for Congress there?
Uncontested.
Totally uncontested. There was nobody running against her. So we've got this fucking loser who didn't even have the balls to go up against somebody who just basically stole a congressional seat. That's basically what she did. She was the only person on the ballot. So what I don't quite understand is what your stance is. So you talk about freedom, you talk about the Constitution, you talk about free speech, yet when I start talking about it or crack some jokes off about it, all of a sudden, like you said, dance, monkey, dance, shut up. Do your job, and I don't want to hear your political views. Well, don't. There's a lot of other entertainment. Get a subscription to Disney Plus and enjoy that. But don't tell me to stay in my lane.
It's been really interesting.
In fact, you stay out of my fucking lane. Yeah. How about that?
Well, also, they're always saying that on your Twitter page. Like, this actually is 100% his lane, his own lane. He created it.
It's my own special lane.
Yeah, you came and visited his lane to say, stay in your lane. How about you go back to your lane? it's been really interesting being here because we're learning that it's divided everywhere.
Yep.
You know, they've got Tories and the Labor Party here, and it's the exact equivalent. Labor would be Democrats. People are angry. Boris, they're mad at him. They're furious about Brexit. But so far, since we've been here almost 2 weeks, we have to get in cabs or Ubers about 4 times per day.
Yeah.
And every time, without fail, so far we're like 25-0. They bring up how much they hate Donald Trump.
Yep.
They hate him here. They don't understand it. They wish that he would go away. They wish a girl the other day that was driving us, where was she from?
She was from London originally.
And so she said, well, it looks like his friends aren't helping him now. And I said, oh yeah, a lot of his friends and appointees are now testifying against him. And she said, no, I mean Russia. And I was like, oh, so they are looking in.
Yeah.
And this is so far what their view is.
Well, that's what's funny to me is that so you know, in the States we're so divided about stuff. People have all these reasons for what's going on and what they believe. And it's interesting to go to a country that has no skin in the game, really. They're just watching it. Because America is such a big consumer and we're such a big world power, they're watching it and they're seeing it kind of purely. I think they're seeing like, that guy's a fucking idiot. They I mean, there's like one guy said that he's a fucking idiot. He's just an idiot.
Yeah,
he's a clown.
Don't understand.
They don't get how low our standards are that we would allow that guy. But then we always get to pull out Boris. We get to go Boris, but you know.
But they always say, yeah, he's like a mini Trump. Yeah, but everyone thinks he's not quite as bad. At least Boris was like, okay, I'll away.
Leave, yeah, but at least he had that. He's still not saying that it was fake or it was, and so we're in a weird place, man. And just so you guys know, in America, man, worldwide, people get it, like and they're not on your side, right wingers. They're actually they're like, why is this guy such a moron?
I don't think right wingers are listening.
You don't think? Oh no, they are, because in the comments all the time, there's always.
I think that's your Armageddon update. I think that gets suggested to them because YouTube has a sense of humor. So there was a girl from Northern Ireland at my show the other night. She was great. And I talked to her after, and it's also interesting that they all know our history. They all know what's going on in our country. And she brought up Trump. And she was telling me that they're very divided there as well, and that it comes down to religion, Protestant versus Catholic. And if you wear the colors of either football team, then you are identifying as Protestant or Catholic.
So you're saying that the soccer uniforms are pointing out what religion you are.
Yeah,
that's a leap.
I said, like our red MAGA, or the red MAGA hat. She said exactly, and they every year on July 12th they have this event where they come together and they burn pictures of the Pope, and
Come on, kids, we're going to the Pope picture burning. Let's go. We're gonna. By the way, that's a nice picture of the Pope. Let's burn that. Like, I don't quite understand.
And then she said they serve Irish car bomb drinks, which I talk about in my new show, which a lot of people in Scotland didn't know that we have in America. So that's uncomfortable.
So the people that are against the Northern Irish serve Irish car bombs?
They serve it
as an insult.
As an insult, like we want these.
I've had kind of a mixed emotions about that. You want to go to another place and think that it's better than you, and then you realize, oh, there's assholes all over the world.
Yeah, but they all seem to think that we have the biggest asshole.
Yeah, we're the biggest. Yeah.
He is the topic of conversation everywhere we go, everywhere. And that girl said, the Northern Irish girl said, she knew, and she said, well, he got raided today. And she said, so there's hope for everyone. And I was like, oh,
you're so cute.
Yeah,
so cute.
So cute.
So let's talk about that. So I don't know if you guys know this. You may know it. You may not. Some of you guys are working way too hard to maybe pay attention to the news, because I have 23 hours. The FBI and the DOJ, someone else raided it too. It wasn't just the FBI. There was another organization.
Export control and counterintelligence agents
and the FBI. So it wasn't just the FBI. It was basically, so Ray and I were last night in bed, and we'll talk about the bed in a second. But we were talking about what could it possibly be? What would it take for the DOJ to go after a former president? And just imagine, guys, just to get a warrant on anybody, any of us, the evidence has to be pretty overwhelming. Imagine what the evidence is to go after a former president. And Biden's not involved in the DOJ. He said that, and Merrick Garland said the same thing. And Merrick Garland's been holding off for a long time. So whatever they found is pretty bad. But Ray said, because of this export thing, export control, what classified documents did he have? And they asked for all the video footage on security cameras around Mar-a-Lago.
So that's now been subpoenaed.
Right. Which, couldn't they just erase it?
They've now subpoenaed, security and surveillance video from Mar-a-Lago from June until present. So Christopher Wray, the head of the FBI, appointed by Trump, had to sign off on this. And then the magistrate in Florida who had to sign off on the subpoena, the search warrant, was appointed by Trump.
Actually, he wasn't. I found this out today. He was appointed during Trump's term, but in Palm Beach County, he was appointed by Trump. So if you've been to West Palm Beach County, it's the most right-wing.
Yeah.
So basically, he might as well have been appointed by Trump, but it was the guys there that did it. But it was during Trump's. It was in 2018 when Trump was president. So yes.
So a lot
and
of
the lawyer
people
was a Trump appointee.
Had to sign off on this.
Right. A lot of Trump fans.
And supporters. And so it had to be pretty big. And they removed, I guess, 10 more boxes.
Out of the 16 they've already removed. Because remember the records, whatever the people that run the records thing, and the National Archives is like, hey, bro, you took like 20 boxes of shit. They returned 16, kept 11, and now they just took those. And it's so funny because Trump's tweet yesterday, I saw something on Truth Social, someone screenshot it. It said, we had them locked. It said, we had the boxes double padlocked in a room. He said, and he goes, and they came and broke in, which aren't you just in, so you had the boxes of classified documents? Yeah, and those guys broke our lock. That was his whole complaint. He didn't say they planted it. He didn't, that was his first tweet. Then they started talking about they planted evidence. Well, why would they plant evidence at Mar-a-Lago? Wouldn't they plant it somewhere else? I mean, if you wanted to frame this guy, it ain't tough.
No, and so so since this has happened, people directly related, like the magistrate Bruce Reinhart, Merrick Garland, Chris Wray, they are all receiving death threats. Because of that, they've removed Reinhardt's biography and contact information from the government website because they are threatening to kill him for signing a search warrant that obviously he probably did not want to sign, but there was enough evidence there that he had to. That's his job. That's what he was hired to do. And then in the periphery of that now, Eric Swalwell.
So Eric Swalwell is kind of our buddy in California. He's a representative district up where I used to live in Northern California, and he's a good dude. And you know what I like about him? He's tough. He'll get in the face of the other side, whereas most Democrats won't. Some guy called yesterday. You guys can go find the video, find the audio, and he basically, this dickhead calls in, this pussy, by the way. Just I'm going to call it out. You called a congressman and said he said. By the way, and his insult was the same the whole time. He said piece of shit like 10 times.
Yeah.
Then he actually threatened to. He said you need your head cut off. But he covered himself legally. He goes. I'm not saying me, but someone needs to cut your head off and cut your wife's head off and cut your kids' heads off. Cut your kids' heads off. That's Taliban shit. That's ISIS. So when do we have these dumb fucks?
But and the other thing is he had nothing to do with it. Eric Swalwell is not even on the January 6th committee.
Right.
That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, but they're morons. People, let me tell you how dumb the rest of the world thinks America is. You ready? So I'm in Scotland, and we're doing the shows, and the shows are going how they're going. And I started opening with this bit. I open up and I say, I'm from America, and I want you to know, I apologize, and they laugh really hard. Then I say, also, I'm unarmed, and I spin around, and I go, and I believe in science. Oh, and I can read, and they applaud. That's how people think of America. And it's funny to be out here, because you look at the way they take care of things here, man. The streets are clean. The air is clean, like the sky. Yeah, there's no pollution in the street. There's no...
On the weather... thing on Apple phones where you can scroll to the bottom underneath the weather and see the air quality index. Right. It's 1 here. It was 67 when we left LA.
Oh my God. So that's not good. So, and then we look at like even the way that their bathrooms are built and the way they give a shit about the people. The tax money seems to be going to the infrastructure and the people as opposed to the corporations and the politicians. Also, they're nutty about recycling. And the weird thing is the guilt that has started to fill me up with how wasteful we are in America. I'm starting to feel
really bad.
I'm feeling so guilty.
You really get how everything is bigger in America. And
louder.
Bigger, I mean, yes, more wasteful and bigger in size. Like their paper towels are half the height. At the assembly where I'm performing, there's a little kind of nipple thing in the middle of the big toilet paper dispenser. Yeah. You pull on the toilet paper and 1 square comes out.
Yeah.
So you have to actively keep taking squares and feeling guilty as you need toilet paper. What else? There's so many things we
so
can't
your guilt
find
is building
here.
per
Totally.
sheet.
You have to weigh your guilt versus your need.
I'm already at 5 sheets.
What else?
Shouldn't have had that Mexican food.
Plastic, like even, I love.
Oh, I went to the supermarket and
Le Labo perfume. We went to Le Labo yesterday, and I bought a friend of ours, our manager's wife, Jenny. I bought her a candle. I bought the same candle in the States before we left, and it was in this huge, really cool Le Labo box with a printed label and all this tissue stuffed inside, black tissue. It was really pretty. And yesterday, I didn't get that at all. I got like this very thin, flimsy, grease stain because it was reused, tiny little container, no tissue, no nothing. It's like just little things like that.
Right. But imagine, so times that by how many millions of people live here, and then you see how much you save. When I go out to the cars are smaller. Well, that bothered, but I guess not the size, the speed. But they have BMWs and cool shit here too, but it's really weird so I go to the supermarket, and there's this place called Aldi, which is a Scottish supermarket, which we found basically we've been eating from a Big Lots. We found out from some of the locals. We found a real good supermarket, but
oh yeah, we were sad there too.
we go to the supermarket, and everybody has, everybody has their reusable bags. And I got there and I didn't have any of it, and I felt it almost felt like everybody turned to me. I was like, he must be an American. Look at him. He's plastic bags. Why don't you go kill a seagull, you asshole? Go ahead.
The whole place just stopped, and it was like 50 cents a bag, and then the guy ran out of bags because no one does that.
Right.
So he started giving us these little tiny ones that he found on the floor. So
and a reusable bag is 59 cents. So now we have reusable bags that we can use because
they don't use throwaway grocery bags here at all.
I felt like so what has happened is it's convinced me to be a little better, and you know what? And here's what we don't have in America: shame and humiliation, because that's 100% why. If I feel like a fucking loser, man. Everyone else is responsible, taking care of the planet. In fact, we had a guy we were walking, and it made me a better citizen. We were walking down. We're staying in a place called Leith. People, it's beautiful. I really like it. I'm sure there's better places in Scotland, but if I have to stay here, this is fine. Edinburgh, I have a phobia about cities. I think that's what I'll call it. I get weirded out when there's too many crowds. Do you know that? Isn't that weird that I perform in front of people, but I get a little bit tight in a crowd? Maybe it's because I live in America and everybody has a gun. Maybe that's why.
That's the other thing. In Leith at night, it's light here much later. So
till like 10 o'clock.
Yeah, and then it's light again at 5 or 4:30.
That's annoying.
Yeah, but we get done with our shows and we come back and get the dogs and go for a walk at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, we didn't get home till 11:15 or something.
Everybody's out in the dark walking their dogs, and you don't have to worry because nobody has guns.
And they have now. I mean, you can call this a freedom thing, but I guess only if you're criminal. So they have a thing called CCTV here.
Yeah.
And it's all over. So if you do commit a crime or you do attack somebody, they got you on video. They're finding you.
There's cameras on every street corner.
And it is very. I think it's a little bit Big Brother, but I'm not doing anything wrong, so I don't give a shit.
I was talking to somebody about that. I knew about CCTV because I love British television and Luther especially, and I was telling, I think it was the guy we hung out with from the BBC that I was begging to introduce me to Idris Elba. I said, I don't mind the cameras being there because I'm not doing anything wrong. And he said, exactly. The only people complaining are the people you're looking at thinking, what are you going to do that you're afraid people are going to see? He isn't going to introduce me to Idris Elba, by the way.
Not everybody in here knows Idris. Just because they live here doesn't mean they know Idris Elba. Babe.
He works for the BBC, and he has worked with him. Thank you very much. And
So you did a deep dive into who he knew?
I vaguely believe, Janie Godley, she's a lovely human being. She's a comedian out here who's been battling cancer. I asked about her, lovely. I'm pretty sure he called Idris Elba a cunt. Which they say here
poetically,
constantly.
Yeah, but I said that on stage. I said I do that one joke in my act about my dad was calling my mom words that rhyme with runt and punt and stunt. And then I go, and all I have to say is a word that you guys have turned into poetry.
Yeah, really.
And they burst out laughing.
They burst out laughing, but they didn't laugh at the joke, the word that rhymes with punt, stunt.
Because they say it all the time.
They don't know why that's a problem.
Yeah.
And we have to be very careful going home because it's such a hot button word at home. But here
I've gotten over
rolls off the tongue. And you don't just say it about women, you say it about
everybody.
Everyone.
Yeah, dork. It's like saying dork. That's what I would compare it to. It's like saying a little bit harsher than dork. A tiny bit harsher. But not even that much. The other thing is that, like you said, we're not walking into buildings and thinking, where's the exits in case someone comes in with a gun.
Mm-mm.
We're not and I didn't realize that when Ray and I go to the movies now in the States, we actually check both exits, figure out what's our quickest way out. Sometimes Ray always tells me, hey, make sure you have your phone with you because if a shooting starts, you want to be able to call the cops. And we've accepted that. And guess what, people? The rest of the world don't live like that. Do you get that? That the rest of the planet does not worry about school shootings. The rest of the planet does not worry about supermarket shootings. The rest of the planet does not worry about getting shot from a 32nd floor hotel window at a concert. Only Americans do. Do you get how fucking stupid that is? Please tell me you do.
Well, I was in a cab the first day. I've learned everything from cabbies. And he said the population here triples during the festival.
Right.
He said, but you don't need to worry because the police presence triples. And he said a lot of them are plainclothes. So you'll be on the street, it'll be packed, and you'll not realize it, but you're surrounded by 3 cops. And he said, talking about the people not being armed, he said, we can't. If we want a gun, he said, you're not getting anything higher than a .22, and it's only for the farmers to shoot
varmints,
yeah.
And predators.
And that takes a long time to apply for that, and there's a whole background check and everything. And then he said there's a commission that comes to their farm and makes sure that they're following the law by having the gun locked in one safe and the ammunition locked in the other safe. So they randomly show up and make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
So can I say how people live here? Guess what they don't live in? Fear. And I think in America, man, the people without guns live in fear of the people with guns, and the people with guns live in fear of everybody. It's amazing. Imagine, there's some pictures we've seen online of some of the Americans that have just collected 100 guns. I always still ask myself, what are you gonna do? Like, are you gonna shoot 100 guns? How are you gonna shoot 100 guns? And all it's gonna take for all those 100 guns to end is one bullet in your head. That's all it's gonna take. So someone's shooting at you, they shoot you. Let's say you got off a couple of shots. Let's say you got 3 guns that you dealt with and you emptied them and you went to the 4th gun. Well, while you're running to the 4th gun, isn't someone just gonna shoot you? And then you got 96 guns you didn't get to use. 96 guns that you didn't get to use. Got a shot in the head, took me down. 95 guns.
We met that guy the other night. Man, we were walking the dogs, and some Scottish accents are so difficult to understand.
It's literally not English.
It is their deep south. And
the guy in the corner, those 2 guys. Oh my God, that guy.
They were drunk, and then on top of that, they were drunk.
I'll try to do an impression of it. So we're walking the dogs, and we're just like a couple out walking our dogs, and all of a sudden there's 2 guys on a bench. And one guy goes,
sketchy looking.
It's very sketchy. She's a go-to man. Go for it. And I'm like, the fuck is going on? People, I couldn't even respond to it. I smiled. I turned and walked away. Yeah, you go. Take it. Take him over.
And then you said, we need to get out of here.
Yeah, sketchy is sketchy worldwide.
Mm-hmm. They were drunk.
That's the great thing about human nature. Sketchy is sketchy worldwide. By
the way, this episode brought to you by Fitbod, talking about being worldwide.
Yep.
Turns out Fitbod is a product you can use anywhere.
So we are here the other day. I was feeling, jet lag was by far the worst I've ever had in my life. Yep. Took us 2 to 3 days to just get to where we could even breathe right. Yeah. It was the weirdest thing. So that 3rd day when I grabbed Fitbod and I did a full body workout. I was here in the little apartment we were staying in, and it was awesome. And I felt alive again. I think that more than anything brought me back. Is that hard workout? I'm going to do one after we do the podcast too.
Well, Fitbod has this algorithm designed for you that changes and it updates your fitness plan as you go. So it builds on what you've done before. We just need Fitbod to put in a jet lag option.
Yes.
Please help. But it made you feel better, which was kind of interesting.
But also the workout. Okay, so here, guys, what you do is you put in what you want to work. You put in. Here's the great thing about Fitbod, and Ray's, and I've been using it for a while. Lately, I've become addicted to it. Mm-hmm. You put in what body parts you want to work. I did full body, and it gave me 9 exercises that you burn through. It times it, so at the end, they break it up into 3 different sets. You do first set of the 3, second set of the 3, third set of the 3, and at the end of each one, it gives you a timer, so you can take a quick minute break, and then you go for it. And I have to be honest, at the end, ask Ray. You think working out at home is not going to make you sweaty, but I'm in pretty decent shape, and I was sweating. It's a good exercise. I love it. I love football.
Well, also you said I have to do this exercise. How do I do it? And I walked into the living room to show you, and you go, "It's okay. I just watched the video."
I watched the video, yeah.
So everybody, your life is kind of getting hectic. Back to school, all that kind of stuff. Summer is almost over.
Don't have time
to
get ready for the gym.
So way easier to do this at home with what you have at home. So get 25% off your subscription or try out the app for free when you sign up now at fitbod.me/Titus. Get personalized workouts from Fitbod that get tougher as you get tougher. That's 25% off your subscription, or you can try it out for free at fitbod.me/Titus.
Fitbod, I ain't kidding, it works.
Keep that workout momentum going, people. It's the only thing that's gonna get us ready for Armageddon, which looks like it's coming. North Korea just claimed victory over COVID. Because they always tell the truth about what's going on in North Korea.
Yeah, you can pretty much bet on North Korea is going to give you the straight poop.
What? I'm sorry, what?
Give me the straight poop, sir.
So what we're trying to say with this whole podcast is Please send help.
I feel honestly, it was weird. We were walking. We had a great dinner last night at a restaurant here, and the service.
We had a
the
day
service
off.
was exemplary. The food was amazing, and again, there was none of that weird tension. Even on Saturday, we got them with our shows on Saturday, and it's a different attitude, man. Everybody, even the hooligans. Let's call them the hooligans. The kids that were just kind of drunk and going off. It's a different vibe in LA and all around the country. America's an angrier country. These kids were screwing around and they were being loud, but they were fun. There wasn't that tension where you're like, oh shit, it's about to break off.
People it seems happier.
Yes.
There is not that tension level anger, it feels like to me, and everybody is so friendly. And something that I was just talking to you about that I've noticed that is kind of weird is when you talk to someone in America, you're always on the run. If you say something to your server like, hey, how are you tonight? And she'll go, I'm great, guys, I'll be right back with you. And she's gone, right? Well, last night we had this girl, and every time one of us would say a word, she'd stop again, turn her whole body and go, yes, and listen. Mm-hmm. Then you're like, shit, she's still standing here. And then they stand waiting for you to make sure you're done talking. So there's an awkward moment of silence that you try to fill as soon as you realize she was going to walk away. So now it's 10 minutes into her standing at our table.
And it was a trade-off because she wanted to walk away. She wanted to make sure you were done. And then we would talk again because we thought, we have to fill this space. And she's like, I guess I got to stay here a little bit. I got to keep talking to these assholes.
It was so weird.
Yeah, and then at one point we both, and then at one point I looked at you and we both stopped talking. We did everything we could to not say another word. And she finally was like, okay then. And she was like so happy that we shut the fuck up.
The landlord of this place, I was saying I'm on the phone with her, and you realize how much in America we talk over the end of each other's sentences. Everything is faster there, less considerate and faster. We're always in a hurry in America. And so she would be at the end of her sentence. I'm expecting her to complete that word, and I'll go, oh my gosh, yeah, it is beautiful today. So I did that, and she goes dead silent. And then after I'm done with my sentence, there's a long period of silence because she's making sure I'm done finishing before she speaks again. But we don't do that. So it makes it very awkward for me because...
Well, I think it all comes from how we live in America when it comes to the tension and the fear. I think a lot of it has to do with because we are... I think, look, Americans don't understand. You have to remember, people, going all the way back to Columbine and Parkland and Sandy Hook. We have... And all the other 1,000 shootings we've had since those times, we have a PTSD in America that they don't have in the rest of the world. So we've got that tension that's with us all the time. Right. We know that at any moment some shit could break off, and we live like that. We also don't have health care. These people are taken care of. You get sick, they go. So there's another level of tension that's taken down off them. They also care about the environment. They have a one here. They're one. The air is the cleanest I've never been to a place with cleaner air. And the water too. Even the water out of the sink, I can drink the water out of the sink. That's how clean it is. And I was like, so imagine all the tensions we live with constantly in America that you guys don't even notice. They're gone. We've been here 2 weeks now, and the only thing I'm tense about is the damn shows.
Yeah.
Everything else is fine. And the bed we're staying in. Holy crap. I talked to the person that we rented this place from today about it, and she didn't give a crap what I thought. She said, I said, I go, can I ask you about this bed? Okay, so people, you wanted to help describe it? We have to describe it.
We're staying in a doghouse.
So we've got this apartment in this kind of it's like a castle, or it's like an old church or something, right? And there's a bunch of apartments in it. We're on the bottom floor next to a sporting goods store. The entrance is my sporting goods. And I'm not saying it's bad, it's fine. It's on the street. Everything's really close. Some people's doorways end up open right onto the street.
Yeah.
But that's fine. But in the quote unquote master bedroom, they built, the ceiling's got to be 10, 12 feet high, maybe 10, 12 feet. They built this box, and in the box is only about 4.5 feet tall.
The entrance.
The
lower part of the box where the quote unquote master bed
5 feet tall, maybe.
Can't say master anymore.
Maybe the ceiling is 5 feet tall, right?
Inside the box?
Yeah. Maybe?
No, it's
4.5.
Yeah.
So you got two 6 foot people climbing into this box that has a bed. So you remember, Ray and I are 6 feet tall. Us sleeping in this bed together is like two praying mantises trying to sleep on a Triscuit. That's what it feels like. She's nodding, guys. You can't see her nodding, but she's nodding.
They built the box because then they put a very steep, very dangerous ladder,
Straight
like
up and
a
down.
bunk bed, up to the top of the box, which is up by these high ceilings, and put twin beds above it.
Right. So let's say you have kids, and you're the parents, and you're sleeping on the Triscuit in the doghouse, and then you put two children up on top on the single beds.
Why?
But then they have to climb down the ladder. So in the middle of the night, your kid gets up to walk or go to the bathroom. Whap! Just falls. He falls, 6 feet.
It's straight up and down, but very polished wood steps,
right.
ladder. So it's very odd, and the inside the box makes everything hotter, and you just want out of the box, and you just want to go home, and that's what I have to say about that. This episode brought to you also by Ultimate Ears UE Fits earphones. Brought these. Something else that I'm using here.
Yep.
Charged them up before I left so that I could have them on the plane, because no headphones work better than these do at reducing outside noise and allowing you to hear what's on your iPad that you're watching or your computer. The old headphones I have, I would have to push into my ears the whole time to try and
especially on the
hear
plane.
it.
Especially on the plane.
Yeah, because all of the background noise on the plane. Yep. So when you open these, they're light sensitive, and warn
them about that. By the way, people, when you fit these, so these light sensitive earpieces fit into your ears perfectly, but when you get the packages, it comes in a black packaging, it totally blocks out the light. So when you open them, be ready to put them in your ears and do the whole thing. And then you do it with your phone. It's the coolest thing.
Yeah, so then it warms up
right
with light form technology, and then they form to your ears. And that's why, other than them having premium sound, you can hear everything with them and don't have to push them into your ears. And the other thing that I really noticed on the 14 hours of flying over is that I was able to use them the whole time and not be in pain.
Yeah.
Whereas any other headphones you're getting are usually hard. No one's molding them to your own ear print. And so they start to really hurt after a while, especially if you're holding your hands over them because you can't hear.
And when they fall out on the plane, they go under the seat in front or behind you.
Not these, but the other ones.
No, the other ones. Yeah, the other ones. These stay in your ear the whole time, and the sound canceling technology. And I have to be honest with you, man, I love being able to open my phone and I can customize how it sounds. I love it. Love it.
So also 8 hours continuous playback, or with the case you have 20 hours, so that helped us a great deal with a total of like 16-18 hour travel time. So if you try them and you don't love them like we do, they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, plus you get free shipping, free returns, and a 1-year warranty. Use promo code Titus at ue.com/fits to get your pair of UE Fits. That's ue.com/fits, promo code Titus.
Right.
FITS.
What was interesting, so guys, to come to Scotland, and here's the thing, they have rules. They have rules, like to bring the pups here. We had rules. Ray filled out so much paperwork. It was so hard to get the dogs here. They had to get shots and get dewormed, and they had to get their papers cleared. Then they had to be everything. It was amazing what Ray went through. And here's the weird part: we fly across the world, and we're tense about this. We are so worried that they're going to put the dogs in quarantine, and there's going to be 15 days where we don't get to see the dogs. We landed at the airport in Edinburgh, and no one stopped us. We got off the plane and walked into to Scotland. Didn't you find that weird?
Well, they had handled it all ahead of time. So the guy here had notified Delta that I was allowed to enter the country. It was a whole thing, man. It was crazy.
But it was weird. We didn't get our luggage checked. Nothing. It was odd.
Yeah, we didn't go through customs. There was no customs form. Normally on the plane you have to fill out the customs form.
Did they? Yes. Did they check it at the? Did they check it in New York before we left?
No, we didn't do Although we did have to, when we were getting on the plane in JFK to come here, you have to stand up. They want everybody to space apart, and then you come up, put your face in front of the scanner, and it takes a picture of you.
Right.
My picture, my left eye was closed and my right eye was partially closed, and I said, "Can I do that again?" And she said, "No." And I don't know where that's going to go, but if I commit a crime, you guys are going to see that picture.
They always use that you're going to look like some crazy drug-addicted
Meth
criminal.
Exactly. Exactly.
And maybe that's what they do. That's what whenever they pull up a criminal and they want to show them, they always put the worst picture up. That's the one they're going to find. That's awesome. Guys, you don't understand how this cuts to her soul. You don't know how many pictures I have of Rae that the second we take them, delete those. And she's gorgeous.
You
delete
always
those.
post, like, okay, a couple weeks ago you posted a picture of me with no makeup on, snowboarding. I was like, okay, that's great. A close-up, no makeup picture. Now, yesterday you posted a picture of me that when you look at, I was having some sort of acne attack. And I just wish that you would let me screen.
No, because you're gorgeous all the time.
All right, well, I'm going to start posting some pictures I have of you.
Good. I'm fine with it.
I don't know if you would be.
I am
Some of
totally.
them.
I'm fine with it. See, the thing is, I always counter it with something else. I can go back online and go, all right, man, she did this to get in with me. Guess what's coming next?
Yeah, no, I don't want to.
Yeah, you want to play this game? We can play this game.
I don't want to play that game.
All right, so guys, so being in Scotland has been interesting. We haven't talked about comedy yet, but so we go to this festival. We didn't talk about this. We did it. We on our first take we started to talk about the comedy here, but we never talked about it here, right?
I don't know.
So Fringe Fest, the people here have been phenomenal. The comics we've met have been great. All the sound people and the techs are awesome. Very helpful. Everybody's been just really phenomenal. The problem is, here's how it works here. You know, in a comedy festival all around the world, they pick like Just for Laughs, great festival. I've done that 3 or 4 times. I got my TV show out of it. They basically pick. You have to be like audition, and you get accepted into it. Here, if you can pay for a theater, if you can pay your money, you can get. So they have 3,000 acts. And I figured out 3,000 times whatever we paid, times that. It's a lot of money.
Well, we're renting the theater.
Right. It's our right.
And then, just like we do in the States, they're offsetting ticket sales against the cost of the theater rental, and then you settle at the end.
Right. But here's the problem with 3,000 shows, or 300, 500 shows, whatever it is, and nobody knows us in Scotland. What's the lowest number we had? I think I had 5. The first night I had 5 people in my show.
I had 4 one night. And actually the 4 were one of my better shows. They were great.
Yeah. Well, what happened was that the first night we had hope. Remember the first night we were like, oh, it's the beginning. No one knows yet. It's the first night. It'll be fine. Next night, 3, me 7, and then you had 18. The one after that, and I had like 6. And here's what's going on, people. It's soul draining. It just totally starts to suck your soul out of you. Mm-hmm. But I will say this: it has made me become a better performer again, because I had to go back to the beginning and access all those skills that I had when I started open mics and there was nobody in the room. And I don't want to do that.
I don't either. I want to go home. Come get me. Somebody send help.
But then again, like that girl from Northern Ireland, she was awesome. And there's people that have had cancer in their family that are just fucking loving it.
You'll have these shows, and sometimes they're very polite. They laugh, but it's like.
Mm-hmm. Or they shake. They don't want to
shake, but it's like they're afraid to be loud.
Yeah.
Because the room's not packed with people, so they don't want to draw attention to themselves.
They're
and you're
polite
like,
people.
Please draw attention, please. But it's been weird.
It's not what I expected.
You're done, and you think, oh, they hate me, and then someone will, like that girl from Northern Ireland. She was awesome during the show. She laughed out loud, but Then she posted on Instagram, 10th show at the Fringe, best by far, poignant and hilariously delivered, must see, go, go, go. And so it's like, or someone came up to me after,
Feel schizophrenic.
Yeah, after one of the shows and was like, this is great for Fringe. About
that guy,
mom.
the first night, remember that big guy that first night?
Yeah, he was awesome.
He was almost in tears.
Well, the ending you do is so amazing. The show's really funny, but then the ending, man, you bring it home in a way that every night I'm wiping tears out of my eyes. That's just how good of a point. And then I had the same thing. So Carrying Monsters is very dark. Well, I thought that Scotland would be darker than America. Turns out way wrong. So people, I'm doing Carrying Monsters, and you guys have seen me do, Norman Rockwell and Love is Evil and all these dark shows about the nightmare that is humanity. And man, every couple of minutes, and this started, and I had to actually address it. I had to write a piece to address it. People would go, Jesus. I'd tell them about my mom in the mental hospital or my dad, and they, Jesus.
Or like you'll say at the beginning, who had two bad parents, and everybody just stares at you. Like
once in a while, you get people raising one, but it's not everybody. It's one. In America, it's half the crowd.
Constantly, yeah.
It's half the crowd.
So weird.
Yeah.
This episode also brought to you by HelloFresh, a company that we deeply miss while we're here.
Oh my God.
We need help.
Does HelloFresh deliver to Scotland, please?
It's great because you get farm fresh and it's pre-portioned. It comes to your door. The recipes are seasonal, so it changes, so you get variety. That's what we're missing here. You don't have to go to the grocery store. It's the #1 meal kit in America for a reason. I wish that they did come to Scotland because we would be using that quite a bit.
I have never, all the stuff you've cooked from HelloFresh, I have never once went, it's all good.
You can actually, in the States, if you go on...
Ken loved it.
Ken's obsessed with it. If you go on your account and you're going on vacation, you can update your delivery address and have HelloFresh at your vacation destination, and then change it back when you go home. We can't do that in Scotland.
Nope.
But you can choose, usually it's like 55 plus options every week, which I love because you can try different things out and it's variety. You're not eating the same stuff every week like we would be if I were picking what I had to cook because I'm tired. So it takes the stress out of it. And you can choose family friendly, fit and wholesome. You can even choose veggie. And you choose like for 2 people. We do 2 people 3 times a week is what we do. You can choose 4 people 5 times a week. It's totally tailored to what you want. HelloFresh is 72% cheaper than dining at a restaurant and even cheaper than if you bought the stuff at the grocery store.
But also, it's not like you're getting like the stuff you cook. They give you the picture, they give the menu, and like it shows up on a plate. And sometimes I go, this looks like what I'd get at a restaurant with the presentation and everything. Maybe that has to do with you because you're amazing.
No, that's what Ken said, the same thing.
Yeah.
That you're making things you've never made before. They taste shockingly good.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't imagine even just looking at the picture, and they come out looking exactly like their picture because they walk you through it step by step and give you everything you need. So go to HelloFresh.com/Titus16 and use code Titus16 for 16 free meals across 7 boxes and 3 free gifts. HelloFresh.com/Titus16. Use code Titus16. You get 16 free meals across 7 boxes plus 3 free gifts.
And can I say one more thing about this? HelloFresh. Let's say you're single, guys, or girls, and you're dating people, whatever. We're all trying to find love, right? You have HelloFresh. You invite, instead of taking them out, you invite them over for dinner, and then you present them with almost like a restaurant-looking meal, and they're like, "Holy shit, this person's amazing." So HelloFresh can also help your romance.
Hey.
I'll say it like that. I'm gonna say it like that because I don't want to get a call from HelloFresh.
So we have to get ready for our shows again. Help.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, so here's what I'll say. So people, you understand that we've, known in the States for a while. No one knows us here. I get it. I did prove that my stuff's still funny here, though. I mean, because of the last few shows, I got it together, but we have gotten to a place where I never like to be in a place where it feels like I'm trying to get through something.
Yeah.
Life is too short to get through something. So we're still here. We're still working it, but it is not what I expected. It's not what I expected. And it's fine. It's fine. I get to be here with you and the pups. And they get to go to Scotland. But boy, Groucho was like, I want to go home.
Yeah, he gets in the bag, the dog bag. I'm in the dog bag. We're all in the dog bag at the
home?
front
Are we
door.
going home? Gotta go home.
Grandma Jean will be here tomorrow, so that will help.
We're gonna go up to the Highlands. We're gonna get a car and drive up to the Highlands, and then we may stay a night there, and then come back, and then we're gonna go home. And guys, I'm gonna keep you informed on that. There's something going on right now with Zero Side Effects. We were gonna release it. It got held off for a second because my manager told me that hold on, we got some people interested. So we'll see what happens to that. And can I tell you something? You guys got to come see us when we get to the States, because Ray. So the one thing that this made us both do was focus. Like, it's not just fun. It's like you have to fucking focus, and they're not used to what we do. We had Richard Pryor. We had comics that were dark and here it's sillier. Would you say that? Would you say sillier? Guitars, puppets.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're silly. There's no one like really dragging out, like going through the reality that I see anyway. And I'm talking about my sister's suicide, and Ray's talking about her mom having cancer, and so there's a building of your show that haven't you felt it though? I know you're growing a tumor because of the show.
Yes.
But haven't you felt like I've sat there every night and watched you, and you are building this incredible show about your mom? I love it, and I love all the new stuff you wrote.
Thank you.
Yeah, but don't you feel it? Don't you feel it shaping up? Don't you feel like getting in some sort of shape?
Yeah, my show is done as far as structure and order and all the bits.
Right.
It just now needs honing and more jokes.
Every show before you film it needs to add funny. You're to the place where it's time to add funny. That's all. Not that it's not funny, but there's spaces.
More jokes.
Like I'm adding jokes. Like I'm still adding jokes to Karen Monsters.
Yeah. More jokes. But at least this forced me to write, and I wrote a whole through line that actually has to do with Tupac. So It's very me, and I think I'm very glad about that, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm impressed every night. You get me every night. I cry every night. You got our manager's wife came to the show, and she was like, I look over. She's sitting like for a couple rows in front of me on the end. She just went like this. She just put her thumbs in her eyes and just wiped her eyes.
Aww.
It's brutal. It's brutal. That ending you do is
Come
brutal.
see Rachel's comedy. She makes you cry.
No, you made us laugh the whole time, and then at the end I was like, but that's what you earn. That's what I love when artists do fucking art. And by the way, the comics that are here, a lot of them are real artists, man, in a cool way. But you have to understand that it's just different. We're really blessed in America to have such a big country to go perform everywhere in. And I think this is an island, and they have so many comics, and everybody's vying for their spot, man.
Well, one thing that's bigger in America is laughter too, that I love. People are not afraid to be loud, to let it loose, and I love that. I think we both said that when we leave here and go home, we're going to be very appreciative
of every audience.
Even more so appreciative of audiences, because now I can think back to, audiences where after you and I were like, oh, we hated them, they sucked, and they would be awesome right now.
Yeah.
I would kill for them.
Those audiences would be massive. We'd be like, oh my God, I was killing it. And like our whole other level of killing has changed.
Yes.
That makes me sad.
Here you're slowly dying at the end, they're like, that was great. Was it? Why didn't you say something?
Yeah, you say thing. Well, I sat back and enjoyed it. I didn't want to interrupt you. With laughter? Is that what you mean?
Please interrupt me. Please. You had your favorite audience the other night, and they were American.
Half American. We found out. I'm like, you guys are great. And I said something to one of them. oh, they got a joke, a really kind of a joke about the whiskey, a historical joke. And I go, oh my God, it's amazing. Americans don't get that joke. And then this whole section goes, we're American. So I get that so although sometimes I talked all about how this place is cool in like all the responsibility ways, I do have to say this. Americans, I'm not going to say have more fun, but they're more free? Is that what I'm looking at? Yeah, that's what it is, right?
But also in bad ways.
So. Yeah, right, exactly. We should temper part of our freedom, and then you
take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have
the facts of life. The facts of life.
So yeah, we appreciate everyone from America that's listening right now that has been in an audience. We love you.
And laughed instead of just closed their mouth and shook.
Yeah, we love that.
Well, that's another thing. So I was doing just some bit in the middle of the show, and it's a dark bit, and there's like it was 4 people that burst out laughing and then put their hands over their mouths. And I'm like, and I had to stop them and go, guys, I'm okay with this. It's almost like these stories about my life are so dark. They're like, I don't know if I can laugh at this. Yeah, you can. If I'm telling you, you can laugh at it. I've put it in joke form, for God's sakes, you morons.
Yeah, but I don't know. Because haven't you noticed when you look at them and you're hating them, but they all their mouths are open and they're smiling so big and they're like happy to be there. It's the weirdest thing. It's just an adjustment. It's like you go to a new place and people do things differently in every way. Everything we've had to do has
Americans
been an adjustment.
are demonstrative. Remember, I got in one cab and the guy said something. He said, Americans, he goes, you're so positive. He goes, it's all fake. You're just talking about positivity all the time. And you're like, it's a thing. And I was like, I don't really think that. Most Americans, we kind of, what? He was kind of mad. It was like the cabbie was mad that we were positive. And not me.
I told one cabbie that I had because he was saying he thought Americans were nicer and less racist.
Yeah, less racist, yeah.
Drunk locals. And I said, no, that's Americans that are traveling to Europe. Those are not the Americans that you deal with on a regular basis.
Don't go to Indiana.
Exactly. Indiana's shit. Florida.
Yeah, Florida. Well, Florida's an easy call. I was going to go there. Don't go to Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Louisiana. That joke kills here. Ray does a joke about, I'm from the racist part of the South called...
The South. The racist and homophobic part of the South called the South. I don't know why that kills here, except somebody told me that their southern Scotland is where the people come from that we can't understand.
Yeah.
So I guess that's their.
What is it weird
rednecks.
about the South? So any continent that the southern part of the continent is full of racist people who are hillbillies? Is that what's going on?
I guess.
What about South India is like? It's like everybody's got their own version of speaking the banjo.
Where you were going with that? I'm very scared.
Every continent has their hillbillies. That's what I'm saying. But why are they all in the South? I wonder what South Australia is.
I don't know. You guys need to tell us. People in Australia, please write us and tell us.
But on Australia, that would be the colder part of it. I guess it's the hotter part that gets the hillbillies. Because they don't have to wear shoes. If it's hot, they ain't got to wear no shoes. You know what I mean? And I don't like wearing shoes. It's like my feet are in prison.
Why did that end up like that for us? We settled first in the north, and then the people that didn't want to follow the rules or be part of normal society development went south.
Yeah, and then west, and then criminals went west.
But we like the West.
Well, now, but I mean, the West wasn't. I mean, if I could be wrong about this, but it seemed like people wanted to get the fuck out of the East Coast because the East Coast.
Gold Rush. I thought it was because of opportunity.
That's true. Well, yeah, you couldn't because what happened with the East Coast is the East Coast got really packed, really fast. Everybody showed up, so it got busy quick. And by the way, I'm not talking historically. I'm talking that movie Far and Away with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. I'm using my historical record keeper Ron Howard, who directed that movie. But it seemed like it was a lot of crime, and a lot of people left Europe to get away because they were criminals and they didn't want to go to jail, so they left.
Well, also the other thing is
Same with Australia, by the way.
southern parts are accessible by water, which is how drugs enter the country.
And contraband, yeah.
Large portions, smaller portions enter through people's hidey holes.
Which is also south.
Yeah.
My hidey hole is south.
So Florida, I 100% attribute to the drugs coming in.
Yeah.
The bath. Do you remember the bath salt craze? That was
when people were like, when a guy tried to eat a guy's face. Yeah. I always say this: Florida invents crime. Florida is like, what's new? What can we do? It's almost like I wonder if they have a meeting, like an advertising agency. Criminals get together, guys. Come on, we're doing the same old shit we've been doing. What can we do? I have an idea. Bath salts. It's basically a bunch of chemicals that really don't go together. Mix them together. What it do? Makes you want to eat people's faces.
Perfect. Johnson?
You know what? This guy keeps bringing up new stuff. Can I get product development in here? This guy's amazing. All right, guys. I want to thank you for listening. It's going to sound weird today because we're recording it in Scotland, and you can hear Pootie. You can hear our little Groucho growling in the back. He's like, "I'm done with the podcast." All right.
He wants to go home, is what he's saying. He's saying, "Send help." I'm in the bag. Send help.
Guys, do me a favor. Go to ChristopherTitus.com if you want any merch, DVDs, whatever. We have some cool new shirts for the podcast. Also, I want to thank Ken Highland. Again, we're here. He's there, but he's making sure that Combustion Films keeps running. Check out the schedule. It's on the website. We're gonna be back all through September, October, November, kicking ass again with the new show. The new show's really getting good. I'm kind of glad I came here, in the sense that it made me really focus on this show to get the show right. And now Carrying Monsters it's dark, people. I didn't realize. Thanks for listening. You want to say anything?
Nope. Go to Amazon and review Alpha Chick.
By the way, Rachel's special's out on Amazon. People, go to Amazon, get it, Alpha Chick. Rachel Bradley, please review. I love you guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the YouTube channel, Christopher Titus TV. Go watch some stuff. There's 8 specials currently there for free. Go watch them. For myself, the lovely Bombshell Rae, and the Highlander. Later.
Peace out.
And for Highlander, there can be only one. Bye, kids.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Titus Podcast. Don't miss Titus and Rachel on the road. Get tickets now at ChristopherTitus.com and RachelBradleyComedy.com. Also, check out the Highlander's debut album with his band The Willing Bureau at TheWillingBureau.com. This is the Highlander. There can be only one!